Greetings and salutations. I am your storyteller, Nobody. And this lovely moment that we are preparing to share is Soup City Sins, Obscura. And tonight's episode is, in fact, Slipping Who Keeps Considering Off. Thank you for your time, your efforts, your energies. And we shall begin fairly shortly, just waiting on some of the other players to arrive. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you. To bring us up to speed, because we are a little bit past hard start, just a little bit. The Motley formerly of Hyde Park, because while they still are, there's still ways that they can still be the Motley that they once were, are back. Their jaunt across the hedge, they're dealing with little Tina and the huntsman, having taken longer than expected. It ended up being, one second folks, little one's here. Sorry about that. She has a foam bow and arrow that we were supposed to have the opportunity of playing with today, but she had church, and so we didn't get a chance. So she was trying to finagle some late night foam archery.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There is not. But it is dark, and we don't want to lose any of her foam-tipped arrows. It's a pain, and it's moist, and it will rain, so we don't want that to happen. So we'll do that first thing in the morning, and probably after school tomorrow as well. As I was saying, the Motley has been away for 6 months. For them, what was a hell of a night of carousing and getting back in contact with what they might have been. The world, as always, has moved on. And before diving in with both feet, hanging on with every ounce of our strength to what little sanity and clarity that this Motley provides, do we have any questions, suggestions, hypotheses, or corners we need to round off? Excellent. Lovely silence. Meaning that we are reading out of the same book, if not the same page, chapter, or verse. And as we do until we don't, I'd like to say thank you. It is always a pleasure. It is always an unparalleled joy taking these small vacations from our little lives and engaging in this hobby of ours with these characters and all of the many others out there in the world that they inhabit. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you. And without continuing on down the primrose path, this is officially Soup City Sins Obscura. Episode 4. Slipping Who Keeps Considering Off. When we last left the Motley, they had immediately returned with a woomph of air. They'd immediately returned and the mask of the world, the consensual reality immediately set in, dimming who and what they are. Tyke is no longer 12, nearly 12 feet. Aurora is no longer a shimmering, slinking bit of water contained into itself. Hazel isn't a pale, mirrored version replicating what is around her any longer, and Kiara is no longer the living embodiment of memory, some emberized photograph of herself, lacking all color save the oxidized iron on whatever she was supposed to be, the die-girl type that she once was. The color returns to her bright shock of red hair. Tyke's shockingly lack bright red fury across his skin. Aurora no longer as bright, and Hazel no longer as densely reflective. Chicago is many things to many people. The one thing that it always is in fact dangerous. Even here in this home away from home for some, and gift from Japan, this place of tranquility where couples sneak off to canoodle, be they long-lasting husband and wife, boyfriend and boyfriend, girlfriend and girlfriend. The tranquility and peace of the environment calls to the lovers and us all in appreciation of the natural beauty and whatever beauty we happen to get our hands on. So, because of the instinctive time sense of the changeling, the instinctual understanding of what is and what is not real, being able to taste magic, to understand how much time has passed without bearing all too much focus on it, they realize that the world has in fact moved on. Starting in anti-alphabetical order, what, if anything, are first things to do? Type.
Tyke should probably go check on his job.
So as Tyke takes a quick look at his utilitarian everyday wear and realizes where he is and how much time has passed, starts walking off. Kira.
Just to be clear, we're picking up exactly where we left off last time, is that right?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Now I hear a yes. Kira is going to want to go home and basically just process everything that happened, because she is now dealing with the fact that she just killed someone without realizing it, and she does not know how to deal with that.
The loss of life is a weight in and of itself, but as Tyke moves off, Kira just pauses, just stops. Doesn't take another step, doesn't do anything. She just settles into herself.
Yes.
And as Kira falls in on herself, and Tyke begins taking longer and longer strides because he has a goal in mind and a destination. for that goal. Hazel.
Let's see. Hazel would probably just wrap her arm around Kira's shoulder and just like make them walk and go back to her apartment.
And Aurora.
Aurora watching everybody walk off would kind of be confused and be like, we have things we need to figure out. I mean, you're just walking into everything and not knowing what's going on for the last 6 months. I mean, anything could have happened. Don't we think we should, like, at least sort that out? I mean, you're all, like, running away. Like, we didn't just... Noticing that everybody has mostly walked out of earshot. Just kind of...
If Hazel hears it, she will pause for a second and hold her hand back out for Aurora to let her take it and take everyone home, except for Tyke, I guess.
I mean, you really want Tyke to know where you live.
I mean, maybe, I don't know. It's only a studio apartment, so it's going to be a tight fit anyway.
I mean, I'm not saying we have to stay together, or just... This feels weird that we just fought for our lives and ran for our lives, and then all of a sudden we're just like, fuck it. Deuces, everybody, and like splitting up. Maybe just like a couple more hours?
Well, I would just rather not be outside right now. And a bath. A bath would be great.
Okay, so what if we make it like a pub crawl? We stop at everybody's shops on the way, make sure that everything is okay, and then we can end up at your house. You can take your bath and we can talk about things.
Sure. She'll jostle Kira a little bit, try to bring her out of the reverie.
Really?
Kira. Oh, go ahead.
No, after you.
I was gonna say once Kira snaps back to reality, she just looks around at Hazel and Aurora and says, yeah, sure. Let's go with that idea.
There's something to be said about taking what joy you can when you can. Because no sooner has Tyke eased further enough off that it will require a decent yell. Once that he's removed himself far enough away from the others, that it becomes obvious. Something that could have been and should have been potentially a thought in mind. every place, every opportunity to partake of all of that heady emotionality of humankind, there would be, there needs to be a member of the lost. You all are drawn to such places like magnets. You all, like the proverbial moth to the flame that will eventually consume you, are drawn. And tonight, in this space, in this garden, in this park, is no different. There are several different many ways of obtaining that heady, sweet dew of glamour. There are several ways. But the easiest, the most dangerous, the most heartbreaking, because it is in fact so easy, is what many freshly returned lost cling to, what many freshly returned changelings do. They reap, they flood the area, they flood the humans with so much excess emotion that they drive them to near insanity, and they wring them out to never be filled again. Places like this draw those changelings who hunt like wild animals, who hunt like packs of wolves, driven mad, become man-eaters. And now that Tyke, the very large individual, has moved away, they pounce. They unfurl from the trees. They rise from the small lagoon. They step out of shadow. And while they don't have sharp eyes and teeth and ears that cut through everything, they might as well, because the mask for them is extraordinarily thin, and it is clear that whatever keeper kept them had nothing but the wildest of intentions in mind. There are raccoon tails protruding from pants, seams, and legs. There are dark pawed claws from beneath leather trench coats. There are bandit masks covering their eyes. And there's hirsute tufts of fur popping up at the edges of their clothing, as if their seeming, their true mien, is becoming more and more difficult for the mask to hide. Not like your double vision where you're able to see Aurora's shimmering water form, or Tyke's larger size, or Kira's amberized lack of color, or Hazel's mirror reflective being able to be something to everyone. No, these are not covered by the mask as well as it should be. It's not a faint phantasmal thing keeping the world from seeing what they had become. They had reaped, stolen, and clearly marked off this area as their own, because as Tyke established a distance, they appear. So what do we got here? Bunch of ladies out by themselves in the wrong area. So there's several ways this is gonna go down. You give us what we want, or you give us what we like. Either way, you're gonna give us something. And there are exactly 5 of them.
Are you absolutely certain you want to do this?
Are you absolutely certain you're not here to poach? It really doesn't matter. It is what it looks like. You are here to steal glamour from us on our territory. And for that, I gotta cut you. Don't worry. It'll only hurt a lot. And with that, like some well-meaning ne'er-do-well from a Judge Dredd comic, he produces a very large blade out of a very small space. And you can tell that it is in fact laden with all manner of unreality of Arcadia about it. It catches the moonlight. It dances there, reflecting the light back at you with a wicked intention. And it's clear as you watch him do such a trick that it becomes obvious that it is growing stronger based on his avarice, based on his need and want.
PDF is having a minute. Look up something.
I have an idea, but I doubt Kira's in the right state of mind for it.
You know, at the end of the day, there's only one way to find out.
Kira, for her part, is basically taking a step back and trying to pull the others to run. But if they decide to stay and fight, then she's not gonna leave them behind.
Okay. Hazel, for her part, will not step back. She will actually step a little closer, and she is going to invoke Tale of the Baba Yaga.
Okay. And Aurora, are you able to dial in from your phone to help with your mic issues? And as you begin to tell your tale, What shall you tell? What story are you beginning to speak into existence?
I believe we're going to use Little Red Riding Hood. Because clearly they're wolves.
And would you be
And we're just trying to get home.
be so kind as to go ahead and roll your manipulation plus subterfuge, plus if you have it, mantle, and of course you'll be replacing.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, there you go. Hi, welcome back.
Way to go.
Okay. Sorry. Sorry.
Hello? Is anyone speaking?
No one's speaking. I'm waiting on Aurora. You are humming.
Alright. I'm trying to. You can hear me now?
I can
Yes.
hear you. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I had to put the headset on the phone because otherwise it would have echoed. But anyway, Aurora, originally I had asked if these guys were always there at the lake, or was this a new thing since we've been gone sort of situation that's going to kind of dictate a little bit how she reacts to this.
You just pop back across Arcadia and you're being accosted by strange men. That's the best mind frame. In a place where you personally, on several occasions, have found super and silence, peace, and were able to connect with the idea of where this world and Arcadia meet without being driven one way or the other. And into this temple, into this secret garden, comes the monstrous, hungry beast of Arcadia, shifting the balance forever in the wrong direction. How does that make you feel? Because at the end of it all, these individuals, these changelings, are the thieves of others' joy. These changelings, these reapers, are false idolaters into the temple of what could be that balance between Arcadia and this world.
Aurora smiles. Darling, not today. This is not the best time for this. Normally, you just ignore your little silly asses. But today, I got time today. I suggest you turn around and leave, before things get ugly.
As you're insinuating a threat, and as Hazel is recounting in great, glorious, gory detail the story of the big bad wolf and what happens to those who attempt to prey on others, a change wells up, bubbles over in them. They're frequently glancing toward their would-be leader. They're looking around them to make sure that they are, in fact, the only monsters present. They are growing more and more fearful. The leader, however, there's an old axiom, an aphorism that everyone understands. Fools rush in where angels fear to tread. And he is the most foolish because he can't look bad, can't look afraid in front of his boys. Well, most of them are girls, but be that as it may, he can't look weak. How are they going to maintain their territory if there's dissension amongst the ranks? And while perhaps, maybe, there's a chance that they picked the wrong victims, but they didn't pick the victims. You all are here to steal their territory. That's the only reason why you would have used such a trick and appear out of nowhere. It's more than a scouting party. This is a raiding mission, and I'm not going to... And you can see all of those thoughts bouncing, dancing behind his eyes. His blade wavering a fraction of an inch, small enough that it wouldn't be visible for more than a couple of feet away. But as you all are standing at the point of it, as you all are standing downwind of all of that spillover aggression and fear and paranoia, you watch it waver just enough to let you know that he has been shaken to his very core. And that makes all the difference in the world. Leaders eat last because, well, in most days, they eat last to make sure that everyone else is safe. They eat last because they are attempting to spread the largesse that is part of the social contract of leaders, which is leaders eat first. But it's been turned on its head in modern days, where the servant leader is the ideal. And so they eat last, after everyone else is secure, after everyone else has had their portion. And it's clear that for all of the many wrongs that this person, this changeling, has done, and will more than likely continue to do, that they aspire to be a servant leader, even in this band of idiots, in this band of chaos gremlins. And that wavering somehow violates some social contract that they have amongst themselves. And you can watch it turn. The furtive glances become fixed. The snarling, happy leers take a turn for the worse. They are actually angry and affronted. Whereas before they were doing their job, protecting their territory, now it's something that they need to take care of. And they begin looking at their leader, expecting, hoping. And like most hopes and most prayers, it goes unanswered. He lowers his blade and attempts to puff his chest up. Look, we know you're here to take our territory, but we're not bad guys, right, boys? Why don't you use whatever it was that you were doing and just go, just get out of here before we have to do something horrible to you. Just get out of here. He says, he yells, he equivocates, he does everything except for say, please just go.
Hazel will smile at him and take another small step forward and lean up and whisper, your fear is delicious, but we're just passing through. Scooch to the side now.
There's a difference between being broken and being shattered. If you are shattered, you of course are broken. But if you are just broken, you can be repaired. You can be built back to a semblance of what you were, if not better. Shattered, there are too many pieces. You are guaranteed to lose some, and you will never be as you were. The wavering in his voice, the downcast eyes. It is clear that he has crossed that threshold between the two. And in front of his gang, in front of his motley, he backs down and steps out of the way. He puffs up his chest and continues with the brave talk. Get out of here! Go! We're sparing you! But the truth of the matter is all over his body. The truth of the matter is all over his motley as they look to him, from him, to you, and back. Even the slowest amongst them understands what has happened. They felt the whisper of Arcadia as you were telling your tale. And they know that their leader of this motley, well, he's meat. They only eat steaks after all, and, well, in this particular moment, he's mighty steak-like.
That wasn't difficult now, was it? Come along, ladies. And she will just blithely walk by.
Kira will follow, trying not to make eye contact with anyone.
Aurora is going to walk, but she's going to make sure that she turns and looks back over her shoulder, because you never turn your back on somebody who you've just broken, especially if they have a knife in their hand. You might get stabbed in the back. So, kind of looking back over her shoulder, giving him that very much, stay there. Kind of what, as they walk past. She understands what they're trying to do, and she knows she's going to probably have to deal with them later when she comes back here. But for now, they have other things to do. They're not worth the effort.
And as the ladies walk further into the dark, heading places due elsewhere, we shift our gaze to take whose lumbering steps are surprisingly light. They're not the trundling, trudging, destructive steps they once were. Here, this side of the hedge, he's just a large man moving through the night. He's not a creature of near elemental fury. He is not the monstrous mountain given flesh. Here, he's just a large guy moving through the night, far quieter than one would expect of someone of his stature. And what was on his mind was work. For several reasons, work rarely leaves his mind. And work, in his case, is, would you be so kind as to go ahead and describe where it is that Tyke works?
Tyke works at a strip bar, which might be found near an airport, and get 1-star rating on Yelp. Kind of a place where the dirt wants to be somewhere else.
The kind of place where love goes to die, usually. It is the idea, it's the titillation, it is the illicit that draws the crowds in. Into those who are down on their luck, literally, figuratively, or just mentally. Because it takes a certain amount of hope to become a regular in a place where Tyke works. It takes an even larger amount of hope to stay a regular at the place where Tyke works. The girls, the guys, from top to bottom, are there to separate fools from their money. From top to bottom, they are there to peddle the idea of cheap, easy thrills and lust had for handfuls of scrapped together ends and baubles. Singles by the fistful. Some even bringing in roll upon rolls of quarters. Literally, a $10 roll of quarters set on the edge of the stage lets the dancer know that you want and crave a little attention, while it's frowned on during the prime time hours. During the day, there are many older men and women who come in with their laundry money that they've managed to scrape and scrimp together for 15 minutes of attention. Someone who isn't as pitiable on the surface as them. Someone who offers them the opportunity for a few brief exchange glances to be seen. Someone who offers them the opportunity of the idea of fantasy. They know in their heart of hearts that they are undeserving of love, affection, and physical comfort. But where else are they going to go? They're not quite hopeless enough to turn to the more than occasional streetwalkers who operate in and around the area. They still have the hope that this is as bad as it will ever get for them. And Tyke returns, appearing like a ghost of Christmas long forgotten. The doorman that's on, everybody calls him Bob. His real name is Grigorievich. His father named him after a comic book character that he got wrong. He's a squat, wide thing. His hair preternaturally slicked back from sweat, mousse, and God knows what other liquids have been used to hold and shellac his thinning black hair plastered to his skull. But whatever it is, it works. It don't move. His width, unlike Tyke's, isn't just sheer aggression. His width isn't just all muscle, but he's young enough that the baby fat appears to be just that. He has a good solid half wall of body, which is more than enough usually to keep most of the dangers at bay. The threat, the promise, the theater of security doing his job in this case. Tyke knows that Bob has never been in a real fight. Tyke knows that no one inside is actually safe as long as he's manning the door. But the owners like cheap labor. The girls like the idea that he looks like he can do damage and keep most of the lechers from actually acting on their impulses. The girls like the theater of security, even though they don't trust Bob. Because the reason why he got the name Bob was because he was caught kneeling and bobbing while on duty back by the dumpsters. And Tyke sees him at the door. And Bob rolls his shoulders, clears his throat, and hops off of the stool, which makes him stand at roughly average height. Well, look what the cat drugged in. My man, Tyke. You know you don't work here no more. Hopefully you brought more than that ugly mug of yours. The girls don't work for frowns, you know.
What you mean I don't work here no more?
Man, you took off. Everybody thought you had went back to jail, but we looked on the internet for the arrest records and we couldn't find your ugly mug, so we figured you just took off running. Shacked up with some guy or some gal. Hit the road.
Well, I'm back now.
Yeah, well, you know what that is? That's job abandonment. I got your job. I'm the head dingaling around here, man. And I'm not putting a word in for you. Fuck off.
I think we'll just glare down at him.
Yeah. Big tough man. Guess what? You take a swing, I'll have you arrested just like all of these other jackasses. Come on, big man. What are you gonna do? Step on me? Choke me out? Twist my nipples? Come on, man. What are you gonna do?
Tyke will reach his massive hand down and push the guy out of the way by his face. Not enough to knock him down or anything, just enough to remind him that he could.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you want to get tough with it, huh? Do that again. Put your hand on my neck. Come on. I dare you. I'm going to press charges.
He'll just keep walking and
Don't come back
reach
here.
for the door to open it.
Don't walk past me. I'm not done yet. Get back over here.
I got this end. You go check the back like you always do. Bob.
I'm the head bouncer around here. You know what? And he gets out and he actually opens up his cell phone. You're not sure why that notification sound always makes you laugh but you've heard it often enough from his phone at the least expected moment. It's a jingle you've heard from his phone before. Almost on one night, it was literally almost nonstop. But as he pulls up his phone, you know he's going to call into the front desk because you all don't have walkie-talkies, because the owner finds it a useless expense when you guys can just use your own personal cell phones or just yell. And Bob is fuming. It was clear that from the blush rushing up and over his head, and how he keeps adjusting his pants and rolling his, adjusting his shirt, that he's quite ruffled. He is quite bothered by whatever it was that you were doing to him, and stopped without him being done with you. You make your way in, and the first thing that hits you, as always, is the wall of sound from the DJ. The one thing that the owners have spent money on is the sound system. They want it to feel as if you were walking into the most happening nightclub ever. Unfortunately, the most happening nightclub ever would never say that it was happening. The most happening nightclub ever would not be so depressingly quiet underneath the music. Every room has a sound, and while you can artificially pump that up or dim that, the truth of it rings through. There at the main stage, which is really the only real stage in the building, are the usual 6 older men and women tossing their Social Security checks onto the stage, dollar by dollar by dollar. On the substage, which is literally just a raised platform put together with several other slightly raised platforms in the back corner, is Stephanie. She's one of the few newer girls who uses her real name. She doesn't go by Bubbles or Peaches or Champagne or Alizé or Hennessy. She uses her real name because it makes her stand out. Everyone comes to see Stephanie. The funny thing about Stephanie is she is by far the most experienced dancer in the building, if you can call what the other girls do dancing. But Stephanie, being the oldest girl in the building with the least amount of accidents across her skin, with the most actual skill, is working the substage. It's always made you a little annoyed when during the busiest periods of the day she was stuck on the small stages where people sit rows of quarters and occasionally dimes and nickels. They add up to $1, yes, but it requires more work on the girl's part to get those dollars, to get those 5s, to get those 10s. They never see 20s on the sub stages, but it required more work. And Stephanie had managed to not put in the extras that would guarantee an uptick in the amount of money set her way. She works with what she's given, and she puts on a show, and she treats it like an actual act. And when she sees you walk in, she hops past the 3 who are at her stage and comes over and throws her arms around you. Tyke, oh my God, I thought you were gone for good. How are you? You can hear the grousing from the 3 at her stage. And another was on his way over with a red Solo cup filled with quarters to sit on the stage for her. But he pauses, looks towards the stage, looks towards her, and just sighs and shuffle steps to the other sub stage where he can sit his cup of quarters down and receive a little bit of attention for the next few seconds until they realize that underneath the quarters that are sitting on the top are just rows and rows of balled up aluminum foil to make it seem like it's considerably more. the weight gives it off, but they'd have to bend down and get the cup, and by that time he's already had a little bit of an attention. He's already had a couple of eye folds, and well, you know, while you can't run that same con every night, once a month he does the exact same damn thing, and no one's caught on that he dresses up or dresses down or lets his hair grow out so they can at least get away with it a little bit longer.
Tyke will just kind of grunt at her.
Oh my god, Bob was so... Wait, why are you back? Are you okay? Are you in trouble?
Because I work here.
Oh, baby, no. When you abandon your job, you can maybe get rehired, but you don't have a job anymore, babe.
They'll rehire me. They're not going to count on Bob.
But that's just it. They have been counting on Bob. He's made some friends. Some guy named Sweetie Pepper. Sweetie, I don't know. The guy has like burn damage and looks like he's been in a fire once or twice. And he's always leering. But he's friends with Bob, and he makes sure that Bob, well, looks good. There was a fight 2 nights ago, and Sweetie Pepper was here, and it was over. He decimated those guys. He dropped them almost as fast as you would. And, well, the owners like him because he helps Bob out, and they don't have to pay him.
Yeah. Just stares down at her as he tries to process all that.
Babe, my dance is almost over. Come on. And she puts her hand in yours and starts gently pulling you back to the back room where the girls change. The idea clear. And as reversed roles as it might seem, she is literally leading Tyke by the hand. She is literally looking to set herself in a way of protecting Tyke. And as Tyke gets the curtain, it has to roll his shoulder and duck under into the back room where the girls are smoking and laughing and filming themselves on camera, TikToks and Reddits and YouTube stories and all manner of additional entertainments for people who aren't here and never would be. We leave Tyke and Stephanie sitting in the back room and prepare to look towards where Hazel, Aurora, and Kira are. It is 59 after the hour. Let's come back at 9 after. Now the world don't move to the beat of just one drum. Welcome back, folks. How we doing?
Here.
Yep.
I'm back.
Hi, back. I'm nobody. So,
Don't you start with the dad jokes at this hour.
It's always nice to have deserts.
I just want to ask you, Now that while we're waiting for Aurora to make it back, are you winning yet?
Oh no. Can you ever really win a tabletop game like this?
Yes.
Yes, the answer is yes, but I feel like there's very specific circumstances under which that happens.
And I think just the opposite. Without getting too maudlin or too philosophical, I believe that we win every chance we get. Even if the character is in the middle of being thoroughly torn inside and out. If their long night of the soul lasts 3, 4, 5, 10 episodes, 10 live plays, it's a win. We get a chance to play. And the beauty is that with us playing, we get the endorphin releases. We get the chemical soup that makes us all the more human without having to do the exertion. It's like the magic bullet for training ourselves for dealing with these emotions. I don't know about you, but way back in the day, I'm talking a couple of years ago, when the play-by-post servers were several hundred different communities, all on the under whichever fan fiction, whichever game, whichever style you were playing under. We would use avatars, typically models, movie stars, celebrities, that sort of thing, to represent that particular character or several other characters. And because of that, even now, when I see certain actors, I don't think of them as the actor. I think of them as the characters that they were most directly representational of. For instance, Samuel Jackson was often used as a cop. So every time I see Samuel Jackson in something, I think of that character. That bearded, scruffy detective that was beating the bushes and doing what they did. So yeah, every time we play, we win.
That's certainly one good perspective. The first thing I think of when winning one of these games is the story of Old Man Henderson. Please tell me I'm not the only one that knows that.
I believe you just may be. We will have to pull your coattails to relay the story of Old Man Henderson.
This is the man that killed a god, right?
Yes, that's the one. The only player to ever win Call of Cthulhu.
I mean, don't you just win Cthulhu by standing in the back and burning all the books?
Old Man Henderson took a more proactive approach.
Well, we do what we can. And speaking of doing what we can,
I cannot do the story justice without taking like an hour. So the TLDR version is that Old Man Henderson was basically a character meant to completely derail a Call of Cthulhu game and succeeded.
In quite possibly the greatest way known to man.
Objectively the greatest way known to man. If I remember correctly, the person who made the character came up with like a 300-page backstory for the character, specifically so that the storyteller would not read it, so that he could just justify whatever kind of crazy knowledge that this character would have. Like, oh yeah, my character totally knows how to fly a helicopter. He was a Vietnam veteran, and he flew a copter back during the war.
Sounds like the worst sort of player I've ever heard of.
From what I understand, the storyteller was also a really bad storyteller, like antagonistic kind of person, so there's definitely like some conflict going on that prompted this.
Sounds to me like everyone else at the table lost.
Possibly.
Speaking of hopefully not losing, the three members of the Motley exiting the park onto Stony Island. Where are they heading?
Well, if we wanted to check on other things, I would say probably the closest to where we're at is Aurora's shop.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, in order of closest to furthest, whose places of work slash rest are in order, and I guess it would probably be mine. So I'll definitely pop by there first, and then we can do Kira's, and then end up with Hazel's left.
Okay, so every ecosystem has its own little tells. Now, while Hyde Park officially is nowhere near where you are, unofficially, as the coterie of Hyde Park, what boundaries form your little space of solitude and succor, providing you with more than enough dreamers and humans and non-affected members to glamour from, is from 51st and King Drive on the far west side, from 51st all the way over to the lake and all the way down to 67th and back. It's a huge amount of space overall, especially for just the four of you all. But it takes that much space for you all to properly sow without needing to reap. And you all have always known you can't be everywhere. It is impossible for you all to be everywhere at one time and assure that there's nothing that slips across the hedge, no excess violence or what have you. But because you guys are fairly diligent, you all have not had the issues of poachers. Yet here you all are, fresh back from your night's adventure, fresh back from your 6 months gone, and it is being claimed by others. Those were not human gangbangers. Those were not human mobsters. Those were not any of the other things that go bump in the night. Those were changeling. Those were members of the lost. And while you don't or didn't recognize them off the top of just looking at them and seeing who and what they were underneath it all, the Arcadian connection of them was hard to miss. It was poking and peeking through the mask. It was tearing the mask to shreds. It was there for the world to see. Anyone who stumbled across him would know something was different. Something was wrong with them. Well, you know exactly what was wrong with them. They have been touched and caressed by Arcadia. And as far as they were concerned, they were just excising a tax for you all poaching or attempting to poach in their areas. Now, ignore it though you might, or wish to. Either you will have poachers, or you all have lost your hunting ground. You've lost your space. You've lost your domain. You lost your territory. And while not as heinous as ending another changeling's life, it is pretty close to that. It is a weighty, heavy thing to consider.
I help to feel like things partly awry since you were gone. And I don't know how we're gonna fix it. It's just the four of us, and granted, Kike is a freaking tank. You can't go around leaving everybody's heads there. Gotta be diplomatic about it a little bit at least. Are we willing to let these people stay in our space, or what do we do by this? I really don't know.
Well, they'll have to go eventually, or return to the fold. But just ignore it for now. We've got to settle back in. I'm concerned about the tail, though.
And as those words escape your lips, you find yourself outside of Aurora's place. It's easy to see it for what it was. Excuse me. It was a place of refuge, a center of calm away from the world at large. It's nice, it's quiet, overall it's quaint. And an unsettling thing is slowly dawning over you as you see the lights on up there in that second story window that should be your living room. The lights are troubling in and of themselves because that means that you've either left the lights on for 6 months and it's that that causes the blood to run a little cold because you see shadows moving. And then another light goes on up there in your apartment. And more shadows are moving, meaning there's more than one person up an ambulatory in your place.
That's disturbing to her, but at the same time, her next thought is her thing. Where the fuck are her things? Did they go into storage? Did you steal them? What is going on? She looks at the other two, fairly panicked. Oh my god. Either they're squatters or they put my stuff out. I don't know. So find out what's going on. And keep me calm or I think I might drown somebody. Fuck. My stuff? Where is it? Oh my god. I think I know how Ariel felt when her dad broke all her stuff in her grotto, because I swear to God.
You don't need dingo hoppers. And as you panic, as your anxiety ratchets up to a small, warm, comfortable 11 and a half, all thoughts of your things go out of the window. You are sure that they are gone, or no matter who's up there, because as you rifle in your pocket for the key to go into your lock, there's no hole where the keyhole should be. Instead, there's a smooth, nice, shiny touch screen there.
No. She looks at the lock like it can explain what the hell's going on. Oh, they're not keeping me out. They are not keeping me out. She has the ability to manipulate objects through time. And a lock is a lock. So she is going to use that ability to return the lock back to it the way it was so that her key works. And that is Changeling Hour. Instant one glamour.
Okay, go ahead, rouse for it.
Since it's a rouse roll, how am I doing the pool again? I know it's 1 and then 0 difficulty, 0 hunger.
Yeah, that works. As Aurora gets angry and taps into the essence of your dual split nature, tapping into all of the halls of power of Arcadia, all of the reality of this world, you all watch as the lock shifts change, the nice shiny metal electronics falling away as if they are tree ornaments in a house filled with cats being knocked from each of the boughs and limbs of the tree, shattering on the floor. And as those little tinkling plastic and electronic circuits hit the step by the door there, the underpinnings of the lock begin to reform. The lock that Aurora holds the key for. And as things change, and she inserts her key into the now old, long gone lock. As Stephanie slips her hands into yours and leads you into the back room, she quickly grabs her overcoat and her bag not bothering to really scoop up much else, but she double checks and she turns around and just arm swipes her counter into her awaiting duffel bag, all of her makeup and things. Tyke, I don't know what you gotta tell me what happened. And she continues pulling you through the back room as the girls, oh hey Tyke, how you doing? And oh my god, thank god you're back. Tell me that you're getting rid of Bob. Oh god, Bob is not that bad. His buddy Sweetie Pepper is fantabulous and he tips. Oh my god, does he tip? You made out with him too? Me too, the other night. And he leaves all these hickeys. Look at... Oh, girl, hickey. Look what he... And then she shows her arms and her eyes comparing the various burst blood vessels beneath their neck from their opportunity of making out. Now, these are adult women who have gone to other, more pleasurable carnal acts, yet they're acting as if the hickeys they've received from Sweetie Pepper are the most stylish of accessories, as if just touching them brings back memories of that first kiss, that first touch. I don't even like men, and oh my god, and she raises her leg and puts it into the chair and shows all of the little small love bites up and down her leg, all of those blooming, blossoming hickeys.
Tyke tries to mind his own business. He doesn't care about this guy or any of these girls, except for the one.
And he was asking about you, Steph. He says that maybe we could party. That's fine. And she's trying to lead you out the back. She's trying. But everyone's closing ranks almost. Like, oh my God, Sweetie Pepper is just the best. Oh my God. Yeah. Did you see? And Tyke, in ignoring them and not exercising his bulk and not exacting a demand of space, it's hard to move forward as there are all but getting underfoot. And it's not as if they're maliciously doing so. It's incidentally doing so. They're so caught up in the memories and moments and sharing and bragging and laughing. Many of them have even set their phones down to talk about their moments with Sweetie Pepper and how he can kiss your very soul. And Tyke's a simple man. It doesn't concern him. But there's constant... And he was asking about you, Steph. Oh my God, yes, Steph. He was saying that he's gonna try to get you on the main stage. He was actually, he's here tonight. Yeah, no, he's here. He is. I saw him go upstairs. What do you mean you saw him go upstairs? When I was dead, I didn't want, but he went upstairs with the owners. He's here now. He is not. Oh yeah, he is. Tyke, come on, let's go introduce you. Steph, come on. He was asking about you. And in the hullabaloo, and in the push, and the shove, and the gentle nudging, instead of ending up out the back door, you and Steph end up at the back stairs leading up into the owner's office. You two being nudged on by the girls. Come on. Oh my God, yeah, are you sure he's here? Oh yes, he was here. I saw him. Go. He was asking about you. And if Steph can speak up for you, she can get you your job back. Now the question is, while Steph can easily be nudged, and while Steph can be swept up easily, Tyke, in fact, cannot. The question is, does he allow himself to be carried along? Because there is the hint, there's the excited nudging that he could get his job back. That Steph could be moved to the main stage more permanently. That things could be looking up for her. Which means they'd be looking up for him as well. Does he allow himself to be moved along, to be gently nudged, to be corralled like some large overstuffed bison towards the goal?
I mean, that all sounds pretty good to him. He's, as we've discussed before, he's not a smart man. Unless Steph is indicating that they should go somewhere else, then he is fine with talking to the owners and improving everyone's station.
As you all are nudged, shunted even, towards the steps leading up to the owners, the girls have no semblance of stealth. They are not trying to be sly or use any element of subterfuge. The question is, what type? Would he try to maybe slow things down so Steph could operate as the guiding hand? Would he try to otherwise give her time to think? Because she really has not had time to think. Her intention was to get you out the back door. Her intention was to get you to leave. And now here you all are doing the almost complete antithesis to leaving the building to discuss. You all haven't had an opportunity to really say all that much, because one, she wouldn't talk on the floor. Two, she wouldn't talk in front of the girls. And three, now you all are here being nudged towards the owner of the club.
He will plant his feet, still holding on to her, or her holding on to him, or whatever, and ask her, "Well, what do you think?"
He seems like a tough guy. He helped Bob keep the peace. I don't know. I just know that. And she looks at all of the girls, some of them who are already back on their phone, texting and chatting and live streaming. Come see me at the club. Hey, these are my... And all but forgotten why they were nudging you. Why were they pushing you? Why were they getting you in this direction? If it'll work, come on. Let's go ahead and talk to the owners and see if we can get you your job back.
Okay.
And as you all take those last few steps up, and she raises her hand to knock on the door swings open, and Sweetie Pepper steps out, a toothpick hanging from his lip. Huh. Well, look what the cat drug in. Steph, I've been talking to the owners, and he pulls the door closed behind him, putting himself bodily in the way. And yeah, so we're gonna be changing management. You motherfuckers okay with that shit, right? Oh yeah, sweetie. Who's gonna be the boss? You hear from down the steps behind you. Well, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I'm kind of a businessman myself. And me and the owners have worked out a way that everybody's gonna get what they fucking need around here. Steph, and when he says Steph, he steps forward and rests his hand on her shoulder, and it calls causes that little voice in the back of your head to start to rail and rave. That forgotten version of you that is plotting how many of those bones in his hands can you snap before he has an opportunity to realize it. How many of those small, very, very breakable bones are you owed by the simple fact that he put his hands on her?
Don't touch the glove.
Bob was saying you're a little bit overprotective. That could be a very good thing. But you gotta know your place, big boy. You want your job back?
Ty kids him. So Ty kids him.
All right.
Just bam right in the mouth.
Be so kind to go ahead and roll your strength and brawl. The punch flies. And it flies. You have not had the opportunity to move that pitch perfect in a very long time. With you being on the step and with you locked into your actual mask, you are punching up for one of the few times in your life. You are being able to get a full extension, and you hit him dead in the mouth. You're not a weak man. You're not a weak changeling. You are, in fact, almost the complete and total opposite of that. And he does not stagger. He does not crumple. His head does not go flying off. There is a silence that possesses everyone near when you do that. And the toothpick that he was sucking on disappears in the collision of the unstoppable force and the immovable object that is your fist and his face. To see mechanically where he might be.
Even Tyke would notice that's unusual.
Yes.
However, Tyke's instinct would probably be to hit it again. Apparently his fist didn't work the first time. Maybe he needs to shake it a bit and try again. I don't know.
Needs to reload it, yes. There are several things that should never happen. Someone standing up to Tyke's strength. One of them. Being able to recover and respond with any speed is the other. There are certain things that are never supposed to happen, and they are happening right in front of Tyke's face. As Tyke reloads to throw another shot, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your strength and brawl once more? Because as he fires that first shot, catching the words as they were attempting to fly out of his mouth. Oh, God. Well, you two are in for it now. He returns fire, yelling what seems to be angrily, "You motherfucker!" And his own fist lash out. And Tyke's fist lashes out. Both of you all deducting the 5 superficial. As Tyke goes tumbling down the stairs. And he takes a step back. What's Tyke's total health, by the way?
He has 10 health boxes.
As you all are attacking at the exact same time, as for both of you all tying, both of you all being the aggressor, both of you all do the outcome of 0 versus one another. It's Tyke has never been hit as hard, ever. Tyke has never been knocked off his feet by something so small. Tyke has never experienced what he is experiencing. His clavicle feels shattered, not broken, not snapped like a twig. It feels shattered. It feels like he was shot at point blank range with a shotgun. It feels different. He is healed. He's come back from nearly everything. But this is another matter entirely. These are wounds that would have had his keeper remove him from the playground and re-knit him back together. What falls over Tyke is a world where the only language and the only sound is pain. And he bounces and rolls down the steps, bowling over several of the girls who were brave enough and bold enough to have start trying to make their way towards him to try to stop. No. And it's over. He lands in a heap at the bottom of the stairs. And Sweetie Pepper. Motherfucker. I heard you was the biggest, baddest motherfucker. And you protected the girls. You had a soft spot to make sure that everybody in the building was okay. As long as this little... And he grabs Stephanie and throws her behind Tyke. Was okay. But you motherfuckers don't know when to leave well enough the fuck alone. I was just gonna take a little sippy sip and try her out. Now, I'ma take it out of your ass. And each step down is punctuated by more profanity. Each step down punctuated by an overwhelming sense of aggression. Each step down seems as if the clock is ticking closer and closer to the end.
Tyke probably would have let it go, but then he had to go and touch her, so now he's gonna meet him on the way up the stairs with a 7-league leap.
And as he leaps off the ground, throwing himself towards the oncoming train, we shift back to the girls, who are now opening the door and stepping into the stairwell that leads up towards Aurora's apartment and back towards the back of the building. There are 2 apartments on the first floor, next to the back door to the business there that sells the books, the candles, and all of the first people's memorabilia inside. Because that's what it is at this point. It is an affectation. It is an idea to show how learned and how liberal they are, as well as to give the idea of business to several individuals who don't have that in the capitalism in all of its many flavors. Those well-waxed, well-maintained stairs, creaky though they are, leading up to Aurora's apartment, seems like the farthest distance that one could ever travel in the light of the present situation. Do they continue on, or do they call it well enough as the door opens for them?
Well, it is Aurora's place, so I will let her lead.
She needs to know what happened to her stuff. She needs to know what happened to her stuff. She's not gonna, even if she has to get another place, which is gonna suck, she needs to know what happened to her things and who these people are and why they felt they could just take over her spot. So she calls up the stairs, hey!
The door's open, come on in! Oh yeah, hey, how's it going? Oh shit, the dip's not ready yet. You hear from inside your apartment.
She was such a kid, dip. So she heads the rest of the way up and sticks her head in the door.
Music is playing at a evening appropriate volume. It's some fusion of jazz and ska. Slow, low tempo, and just angry enough to get the feeling of the word across. The tastefully eclectic decor is a hodgepodge of where Aurora left it and where they took it. Adding to the alternative charm of the space is the wafting, cloying scent of incense, candles, air freshener, and various other sensory overloading scents bombarding. You hear people laughing and dancing, actual full-fledged dancing back in the dining room area. Sprawled on the couch are 2 individuals engaged in a sensory exploration of themselves. And then you hear moving towards you, oh hey, welcome, namaste. And there is a 5'0" waifish person. There's a skirt, there's an off-the-shoulder sweater, there's a big floppy hat obfuscating their face, and you're not sure whatever it is that they might identify with, because completing the ensemble are a pair of big yellow rain boots. Fingernails are polished, bangles are up and down the arms. Welcome. I'm not sure who invited you, but come on in, guys. Hi, hello. Hi, I am Pat, your host. Welcome to my place.
Oh, Pat.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
And
My name is Aurora.
Aurora, that's a lovely name. That means bright. I'm sure you didn't bring any housewarming gifts, but that's fine. It's forgivable. Right this way.
Hold on, honey. The reason I didn't bring any housewarming gifts because this is my fucking house.
No. My lease.
Yeah.
Darn.
Your lease is...
Darn.
So,
I'm not sure who you believe you may be speaking to.
she walks over to where some of her stuff still is and turns it over. There's like a little vase with her maker's mark underneath. That's my maker's mark. This is my vase. Puts it back down.
And that's very lovely. But whatever the landlord left here, that long as it wasn't hideous, is still here.
Oh! She looks at Kira. Get her.
With the landlord.
Get her. Did she just call my stuff hideous? I'm about to put hands on somebody here.
Darling.
Hideous?
Hideous.
She starts taking the earrings out.
Darling, you should probably pause whatever the fuck you think you're getting ready to do. I do not want to have to fuck you up. Now you need to sort out whatever your business is with the goddamn landlord. We're gonna have a nice, calm fucking housewarming, and you can settle your business with the landlord. Ain't got shit to do with me, and you're not gonna come up to my place and start no shit. Are we okay? Are we clear, darling? So, welcome. Come on in.
Her change in voice. Pauses her for a minute, but then she kind of head tilt. And then looks back at Kira. Looks back at the woman. Oh.
Kira is as confused as everyone else.
Now, looking at this person, do they have a glamour about them, or are they an other, or are they feeling very much human but not? He's really gonna look at her like trying to figure her out.
Let's see.
That reminds me, is there, like, some ability of the changelings that they can detect, like, other Fey magic?
It's fairly obvious. Like, the mask works to minimize those traits. Like, you can still see them, but you can also see when it's poking through the mask. Like, when another changeling unveils themselves, making it so that everyone can see who and what they are, their full mean is different than them just existing. Part of your shield, part of the glamour that you all keep wrapped around you and working with the mask keeps you all safe. Because when you unveil yourself and reveal yourself, or have lost yourself to banality, well, the keepers come, the huntsmen come, and while it's not an open, often discussed thing, oftentimes so too do other changelings come to put an end to you, or to lock you away someplace across the hedge so that you do not draw the keepers and huntsmen. Unfortunately, it's far more difficult for the changeling to do such things. Because no changeling outside of extraordinary circumstances can be held against their will. It is a difficult proposition, knowing that, yeah, occasionally that call has to be made. Occasionally there is changeling versus changeling, outright pure violence for violence sake. And while this is not violence for violence sake, there is a reason behind what is in the offing. Would you be so kind, those of you who are attempting to pierce the veil, as it were, be so kind as to roll your wits plus either occult or either empathy or either occult or empathy, and roll as high as you possibly can, unless of course you have a contract or such that might be able to allow you to see clearly.
I think I'm gonna use a willpower on that one.
You didn't want to risk what might happen.
It's fine. For her part, Hazel's not too terribly worried about, who might be moving in. But she is going to purposefully look at any reflective surfaces that might be in the area. Not doing anything with them, just, learning where they're at.
And the wizard hangs spells about themselves in preparation of what may come next. Go on. Aurora? We're just waiting on your roll. Oh, wow. Alright. So, there are many things that go bump in the night. Most of those things are very comfortable bumping against themselves. It's almost so soothing. The various nations of the things that happen in the dark typically interact with themselves. They typically view everything through their particular perspective on the world, discounting, ignoring almost everything else. It doesn't stop you all from piercing the level of secrecy each of those nations of things have. And in this particular case, Kira, as you stare at them, you hear a voice that has been plaguing you more often as of late. Oh, that is interesting. Take that down. Make sure you mark this. Understand this so that we might be able to crack. And it begins going round and round and round as you stare at this thing. That's as close to being accurate as you can come, because there's humans, mortals, have this wafting perfume of their emotions that sullies the air. Humans have this aura about them of untapped and unbridled magic that they do not use. It's useless to them. And you can spark it, you can build it, and you're able to take small drinks without damaging the person. This being, this thing, does not have that. The air around them is neutered of scent. The air, the aura around them doesn't have those twinkling little bits of emotion spilling out, pouring all over the place. And you have never come across that before. There are some who are dimmer than others. There are some that don't have as much. There's always something. In this particular case, with this thing, there's nothing. Or you instinctually hate this thing. You can pretty it up as much as you'd like when you talk to yourself. But the truth of the matter is, there's a spark of anger that begins to fall across you, because this is not a person. This is a thing. This is not a living anything. This is a thing. It's not a pale, empty shell that is leaking little bits of itself all over the place. No, this is the absence of that spark of life. Yet here it is. And you understand why the incense and the air freshener and the candles are going, because it stinks to you. It smells like wrong. It smells like the impossibility of an unending never. And your hackles raise.
On realizing this, Kira will just say in a horrified tone, "What are you?"
Oh, come now, come now. I'm Pat. Welcome to my housewarming.
You're not human, are you?
The fuck you say? Keep your fucking voice low. Come on into the back. We can talk in my study, my dream room. I started gathering things together so that I could put up a dream board on one wall. Come on, come on. Get your ass in the back so we can talk. Hurry up, motherfuckers. God damn. Alright, guys. More guests will be arriving shortly. Everyone to your places. Settle in. The dip will be ready shortly. Come on, come on.
Kira looks to the others.
When Jake said Aurora, there is a look on her face she's probably never seen. If you've ever kind of looked over a boat at night into the water, and there's that little bit of ripple as the waves happen, but it's very much, you can't see shit. That's what her eyes are doing right now. And she's kind of gazing around the room, marking where water is, because it's going to be used at some point. Fairly soon.
So you all don't follow Pat? You all don't take the motioning, the leading to the back room? You all stand there in the doorway, in the foyer.
She's following. She wants this thing out of her place. So she is following it to get it away from the others so that they can handle it.
the dream room, where the dream board is supposed to be built, was a very well appointed bedroom. Aurora knows the room intimately, though it's nothing like it once was. The bed has been removed. There is a keyboard set up in the center of the room. The walls have all been painted white. There's candles and incense burning in each of the four corners, and there's symbols and sigils on the floor, burned in with wax and ash and various other metallic substances. Once you all enter, Pat closes the door and takes off the hat. And it is the most heartbreakingly beautiful face you all have seen on a singular person ever, marred by a 5 o'clock shadow and lips a little too large to be more than kissable. The long, well-maintained eyelashes and sculpted eyebrows, and the completely bald head underneath the hat. The hat is attached with a wig, and Pat slumps temporarily against the door before taking their feet once more. Look, I'm as human as I fucking need to be. As human as I can be. And I'm only going to get more human as more time goes along. What are you to come into my place and call me out like this? It may have been your place before, but I signed a lease. I did everything legal this time. What are you all after? Who are you working for? And what do we have to do to find some peace here?
We don't work for anyone. Well, not really.
In this case, who would Aurora think is more at fault? The landlord or this person that stands in front of them? As bad as the person that stands in front of them is pissing them off for just existing, would the landlord be more at fault in this? Would they try to reach out to the landlord? Logic, let's see. Let's see tough logic right now.
No, do you? Something in your space. Something has, according to them, legally purchased your space. And 6 months have passed. And Hazel?
She is once again making note of the reflective surfaces.
Thank you.
Otherwise, staying quiet.
I've got a 3 in composure, does that help? Yeah. Looking at the other kind of thing is, I will handle the landlord too, yes. But you have sullied my face with your whatever this is. And she's motioning to the floor.
Look.
You're...
I'm not going to insult you. You're not going to insult me. I am the only legally bound owner of this space. And I haven't taken arms against you. I haven't thrown you out. I've welcomed you into my space that I am paying for. So I ain't gonna tell you no more. You gonna watch your mouth.
So I'm guessing you're not one of us, and we're not one of you from...
What do you mean? What do you mean?
It's a little hard to explain, but, to make a long story short, you might call us the Lost. That's probably not descriptive at all.
No, but it does add why you're here. I can only be in a space for so long. And what I'm doing here is bringing those who don't have a home or a space to call their own together for one night to do one working to their... It's the only good thing that I could do before I ruin everything. Humans don't like me. The living don't like me because I break all the rules. Everything like me breaks all the rules.
So what are you then?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
You're definitely not human.
I'm more than human. And get treated like less. I'm... Eventually, everything turns against us. We go by several different names. None of them are true enough. None of them are accurate enough. But there's a great working that we do, that we work towards, so that we can actually be part of the living world. And they crouch. They sit back on their haunches. They don't sit on the bench that's set up next to the keyboard. They sit right where they are by the door. Bring their knees up to their chests and rub their shins as they look up at you. And there's something about how they're looking up at you that you realize is distracting you from what's on the floor. It's distracting you from what's underway. It's distracting you from, why is the world wavering a little bit? Why does it feel as if you are slowly becoming more and more like the smoke that's wafting up from the four corners of the room? And with that thought resting over everyone's head, with what is to be, might be in the offing, I'd like to thank you all for a lovely episode. And I'll see you guys next week for our next episode. Good night, everybody.
We just walked in front of the trap. How are we gonna get our place back?